So to be able to break down that hierarchy in an efficient way on Farscape is something actually that links to the first question today, which is something I am most proud of. This was a collaborative endeavour. If someone on set went, this line's better, you didn't have someone from the writing room come down and go, well, that's the way I write it, that's the way you're going to say it, that's the way it's going to be. We all trusted each other's judgment. And I have been a small sort of spectator in my career on large Hollywood films, right down to student films. And I have never seen this sense of, let's just all get in and muck in and do our best to collaborate. Let's take the best idea, whether it's visual, verbal, emotional, and that's what I'm most proud of, the fact that we allowed and were generous enough with each other to give each other that power, that authority, that sense of, you take it, if that's your best idea, let's go for it, let's run with it. And I don't think I ever heard anyone with their back up over changes. I can't recall any anyway. People just yielded. It was like good improvisation, you know, the idea is you get an offer and you yield, and there's that sense on set in Farscape. Someone's made an offer, I yield. Someone's made an offer, I yield. That never happens. And that was amazing.
It is, and I can only think of one occasion in 88 episodes where an actor said, that's my line. Once. And there were adjustments, and I gotta add on to this, that I repeatedly said, I would come to set and I would make my decision about what to do. I would turn and I would look at Claudia Black and I would simply react to what she did. Because I knew that she was going to be giving better than I could give out of, you know, from the recesses of my brain. And you know, I've said it, and it's true. I would turn up and go, what's Ant going to do? What's Gigi going to do? You had to react what Gigi was going to do. What does that mean to this? This is not quite what I expected when I read the script, but inevitably it made the show much better. And I have to say that the writing staff was incredibly supportive of this stuff. That, to the degree that a writer can say, yeah, no, that made it better. We didn't make it better 100% of the time. There were probably times we made it worse, but they were supportive of our endeavors to make it better, and that was top to bottom.
Hi, my name is Linda. This is for Anthony. We have a saying in the Farscape fandom that you're not really dead until your Dirk's head on a stick dead. So Darko lives.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm Kelly. This is probably directed more toward Rocky than anybody can really answer. So the theme song, it sounds like it's the ancients that are speaking to John in a couple different episodes. I don't have translator microbes, but I'm hoping that you do. What are they saying, or do you know what they're saying?
I know what the music and the theme song is saying.
That's quite interesting. It's really just, it's tribal. It's not a specific land, but that's fodder for the future. That's interesting. Keep watching this. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Hi guys, my name is Stella. You guys are talking about the art form of, you know, the art that is Farscape, and I want to talk about the art of makeup. I'm a special effects makeup artist. This show really inspired me to become a makeup artist and get into special effects. And I know all of you wore makeup at some point, special effects makeup at some point, some of you more than others. And I just want you guys to talk about your experience.
I mean, I would love Gigi to speak to this as well, and Anthony, because they were absolute warriors who came in very early and had a lot of patience watching and helping to have their costumes and their makeup to develop over the years so it could become more efficient and more doable, because it was, the whole agenda with the Henson Company was to do something that was at the quality of film but at the pace of television. Which really impacted the actors, I would say, most, especially the ones in these amazing makeups. But what I've noticed personally is the level of detail that went into the design of these makeups that, you know, several years on when I had to wear the Chiana makeup, one of the people who was in, when we went on to do Stargate and they did a spoof of Farscape, I had spent enough time observing the process that would happen with Chiana, and they were going to do a really sort of, you know, surface job, and I said, no, if you want to make this look realistic, what they did with Chiana's wig was to dye the roots black, because that makes it look realistic, like real hair. And then the way you get the effect is you wash it and then you turn it upside down and let it dry overnight upside down. And there were all these things that I learned as I was on observing, and it really gave me such a respect for the difference in culture on different sets, where the detail that went into the design of these made all the difference on screen. But you guys can speak to it way more than I do.
Loved every second of it. It's so awesome to play a creature that's not invented yet, you know, because so often you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a cop, you're a robber, you're a, you know, there's all these characters that we are fortunate enough to play, but how often is it that you get to be involved in the Jim Henson universe and play a creature that no one's ever thought of? So she made me so brave. It was just such a beautiful process. I loved every second of it. I would have dreams where the makeup was stuck on my face and I was okay with it. It's just so beautiful. And it's just, as you guys were saying before, you guys gave us so much artistic license to really create those characters, like the movements and the different intonations, and the creators allowed us to really put our organic choices into those creatures, which I think is why you guys connect so deeply with them, because they're not perfect and they are very interesting and are just beautiful. I loved every moment of it. And even in the very first look at Chiana, I think apparently she was meant to look more like Sukozu in the Peacekeeper Wars, and the makeup supervisor saw the audition tape and went, no, that look's not going to work for this girl's face. So she actually created Chiana's look from this audition tape that I did. And then this beautiful supervisor now has gone on to win Oscars for Mad Max and all sorts of things, Leslie Vanderbilt. So yeah, just loved every moment of it.
We were also part of something where, technologically speaking, things were shifting very rapidly. Garner McLennan, who did the original CGI, was doing something groundbreaking, really. The way that Moya was realised, the production values that ended up on screen was extraordinary, and the same was happening in the creature shop. They were inventing a technology for makeup that shifted, which Anthony can speak to, from foam latex, which is the way it was normally created, to this silicone-based makeup, which they then ended up using with Scorpius, which we got to try as well.
That was like hot flesh, I think they call it?
Hot flesh, yeah. Which transformed the industry.
Yeah, if you... Yeah, to sound like a hippie for a moment, I'm a massive believer in human potential. If you give a talented person with a will to succeed the opportunity and the space to grow, experiment, make mistakes, and then move on, then you're going to get amazing things, whether it's in an office, a film set, a sports field. And that the creature shop team, amongst other parts of the production, had that opportunity. Is not for nothing that out of Farscape you have Leslie with an Academy Award, Dave Elsey with an Academy Award, Elka Wardiga with an Academy Award, Damien Martin with an Academy Award. I mean, they learnt their chop, maybe not Leslie perhaps, maybe not Dave either, but certainly Elka and Dave, they really cut their chops on Farscape. They were my makeup artists for Elka season 2, Dave for season 2 and 3, and then Dave was looking after me even through right to the end. They are amazing. Write this down. Damien Martin, super close friend of mine. He owns a business now called Odd Studio. They're one of the best prosthetic and practical effects businesses in the world. So if you want to go and look at Odd Studio, go and check that out. Check out their Instagram feed, and you'll see how that has developed over time. I did want to say something else, but it's escaped me. Amazingly talented people. We're privileged to be there, and it wasn't just aesthetics, it was look, and it was about how can you perform through this. I've worked with some prosthetics people where it's just about the maquette, you know what I mean? I've designed it like this, it looks like that, go and try and perform in it. But all the creature shop were like, well, how can you work this to get the best performance that you can? It's why our makeups evolve over time, the thickness of the latex, moving into hot flesh, the way it moves. I mean, I couldn't move my neck hardly season 1. And you work with that and you do your best. But they saw that, they noticed it. How can we work with this? How can we make it happen? You cannot stick a Dargo mask on someone else and have it look like Dargo. I don't look like Dargo, but no one looks like Dargo if you put that makeup on their face. The exact same thing can be there. It works to your face, and that's the same for all the characters. And you see that when these guys got to put on the Scorpius makeup and things like that, it changes it. It absolutely changes it. So for me, it was their focus on performance and the ability to get a performance rather than a look. I think that's all I'm going to say.
Actually, I'm going to piggyback on this question. So you talked about performing through prosthetics. Lonnie, what was it like performing as Pilot when you're creating a character through a giant Henson-designed Muppet?
He put on 800 pounds to play that role. and Ken dropped like 150 pounds to play an ancient. So you can say it's about the prosthetics, but really it's about the actor.
Initially, in the first few days or weeks of filming, I would go on set and read for pilots until logistically, when we were running 2 to 3 units, filming day by day, that I would actually have to go on set as Chris and then come back and do ADR for pilot. So I ended up, I only spent a few days on set, beside the camera, doing pilot's lines. But when you see pilot, I mean, the mechanics of pilot, it's pretty amazing. With a team of 3 to 4 people, it was just incredible that these wonderful puppets were kind of moving. And the thing is, and this is the crazy thing, when when Grace would work with, say, Rigel, I never saw Rigel. I mean, I didn't see the puppet there. I saw Rigel. So when I was responding to Rigel as a character, and that was the beauty of this wonderful work that these people were doing, so that we could inhabit this kind of other make-believe universe and go out there and talk to DRDs and talk to Rigel as if they were characters. So Pilot for me was a character, and Pilot's the whole thing. The impetus for me for Pilot was really caring for everybody on the ship, caring for Moy. That was it. Whereas Grace had a whole other agenda. A couple of agendas, just a couple. Nothing. Okay, our next.
My question for you is in regards to the opening monologue.
Could you lean closer to the mic, please?
Big voice.
Okay, my question is in regards to the opening monologue. Is it supposed to be an homage to some sort of same sort of idea of
That's a really interesting observation. No, it is not. No. It's really interesting. No.
What was the question?
The question was the opening monologue by Frighten, the voiceover, a homage to $6 Million Man. And it wasn't, no, it was not.
My name is John. My question is directed to Ben. We've talked about how you act, the aliens act and stuff, and the prosthetics you use. However, my question is more of, why are humans superior?
The question was, why are humans superior? Yeah, I think chocolate and milk and beer. Beyond that, I think it's all up for debate.
And pop cultural references.
We have time for another question if there's anyone to come up to the microphone.
Well, actually, I would like to throw in one last